Was Walter White really right? To answer this question, we have to empathize a little bit, because Breaking Bad is not just a movie, it is a reality that exists in the world we live in. From chemistry teacher to drug lord, Walter White made many morally questionable decisions. But were these decisions justified in their own right? Let's take a closer look at Walter's story to answer this question. First, subscribe to the channel and like the video. Cancer diagnosis. Everything for the family? The starting point of Walter's foray into crime was a fatal lung cancer diagnosis. It was the turning point in his life. Would he still be a chemistry teacher if he hadn't found out he had cancer? But at this point, Walter defended himself and his decisions by saying, "I'm doing this for my family." When Walter White learned that he had cancer, he knew that it would be the turning point of a great sacrifice. He wasn't really that upset about his own illness. The only thing he was sad about was his family left behind. He had to do something about it. His wife Skylar asked him to save money to provide financial security for his son, Walter Jr., and unborn daughter, Holly. So far, we have empathized with Walter. But an important question arises here. Did he really go down this path just for his family? Or was it an excuse to bring out the worst in him? In the first seasons, Walter's motivation seemed more innocent. Everything was for his family. However, in the following seasons, the "for his family" claim became questionable. As Walter's ego grew, so did his ambition. We saw that his motivation was actually a desire to prove his own success and power. This changed the viewer's perspective on Walter. The ego and the desire for control, the birth of Heisenberg. Walter saw himself as a father who sacrificed for his family. But over time, he took on a different personality. We realized that Walter was no longer an ordinary chemistry teacher. And Walter realized it too. The new character needed a new name. This was the first step in his transformation from White Walter, an ordinary chemistry teacher, to Heisenberg, the crime emperor. Heisenberg was the embodiment of the desire for control and power. Thinking of his family, White Walter succumbed to ego and ambition and became an unrecognizable man. For example, when he worked with Gus Fring, he continued to deal drugs, even though he was making a lot of money. His overthrow of Gus and his desire to build his own empire showed that he no longer just wanted to make money for his family. Walter endangered and killed many people because of his desire for power and control. Innocent lives. At what point should Walter's decisions be questioned? When evaluating Walter's actions, we cannot ignore the impact on the lives of innocent people. For example, Jane's death. Jane, Jesse's girlfriend, drowned in front of Walter's eyes, and he refused to intervene. This decision was an important turning point in Walter's moral decline. Even if Walter doesn't drink the poison he has made, we see that he has destroyed his sense of compassion. This destroyed sense of compassion on Walter's part led to Jane's death, which not only ruined the life of her lover Jesse, but also led to the emotional breakdown of her father Donald and the subsequent plane crash. Another example is the case of Brock's poisoning. Walter risked an innocent child to manipulate Jesse to bring down Gus Fring. Even though Brock survived, Walter's actions seriously questioned his righteousness. Did he go this far for his family or for his own interests? Could he go even further? I like to build empires. True motivations. To understand Walter's true motivations, let's look at his famous line from the final season.
That you did this for the family.
I did it for me. I was good at it.
I didn't do it for my family. I did it for me. It felt good. It made me feel alive. This clearly reveals the truth behind all of Walter's actions. Although Walter initially set out under the pretext of protecting his family, he was actually seeking to satisfy his own ego and power. This was the first time Walter confessed to himself and to us. We will never know if this confession was Walter's way of suppressing his own feelings or if it was a true confession, because at this point, whether Walter is right or not becomes a matter of personal interpretation. Some viewers try to understand his love for his family and his desperation, while others think he is selfish and dangerous. But we know that on the way to this criminal empire, many people died and their families were torn apart. Why do those who argue that Walter is right think he is right? 1. System injustice. Walter had years of education and the potential for a brilliant career in chemistry. However, the inadequacies of the education system and the financial burdens of the healthcare system left him in a desperate situation. Given the difficulties faced by an individual without health insurance in the U.S., Walter's desire to provide financial security for his family is somewhat understandable. However, Walter's motive to provide financial security for himself while poisoning others is indefensible. 2. He provided financial security for his family. Walter saved millions of dollars for his family by working illegally. If he had taken a different path, his family could have faced serious financial difficulties. So all of Walter's evil deeds were righteous. It's a bit of a brutal defense. However, some people defend this thesis. 3. Justice in a world of crime. Even after he got into the drug business, Walter had his own sense of justice. For example, he fought hard against uncontrolled and dangerous criminals like Tuco. He stood up to an organized but cold-blooded criminal like Gus Fring. In his own way, Walter tried to create a balance in the criminal world. 4. Desire for success and recognition. Years ago, Walter gave up his stake in a company called Gray Matter, which was worth billions of dollars. This huge loss in Walter's life led him to feel that he had not achieved the success he deserved. His success in the criminal world was an attempt to compensate for this lack. Conclusion. Was Walter White right? Walter White's actions can be evaluated differently depending on his motivations and moral perspective. At first, he appeared to be a father who risked everything for his family. But later, his ego and desire for control took over. His actions, which cost the lives of innocent people, made him less justifiable. He caused the deaths of hundreds of people. Many families were destroyed. In the end, the answer to the question was, Walter White right depends on the viewer's point of view. Some argue that he did what he believed was right in desperation, while others believe he was a greedy and dangerous criminal. But one thing is certain. Walter White will remain one of the most complex and controversial characters in television history. If you've reached the end of the video, let us know what you think about this topic in the comments section. Also, write in the comment field for the next Breaking Bad content idea. Goodbye.